Hi, I'm Empress Rose, and this is the Lovers card, number 6 in our little journey here. It's at the heart of the matter. On our Kabbalah, we have number 6, the heart chakra, the heart of the matter. We also have, but we place the Lovers right here along this line, going from understanding to beauty, but it does cross through strength here. This is a card, this connection is going to require some amount of strength and stick-to-itiveness and inner power. It's also going to require, right through this throat chakra, also here, we have to say what we want. We have to speak what we want. So the heart of your matter, a true passion has happened here, has occurred here. So my journey with the card has been sort of, at some point I started to realize that this card represents sort of a fork in the road. So if we're talking about our hero's journey or our road trip, we've got the fork in the road here. And so I sometimes overemphasize that, or emphasize it more than it needs to, but because what the beauty of this is the beginning of something, that connection, that initial connection of soulmate material, whether it be a project, whether it be a work, a job, or a person, family, friends, and of course, everybody's favorite, the lovers, the romance. It's the beginning though, right? We don't have babies, houses, mortgages showing up here at all. It's the beginning. It's that recognition. And that recognition, though, is going to require choices and decisions. Are we going to go with this? Are we going to stay in our ho-hum life? Are we going to stay on the freeway? Or are we going to take this side road? So and the choice to me is always about fear versus love. How are you going to run your life? How are you going to navigate your decisions and your choices, right? So if we're talking about the road trip to Arches National Park, we can stay on the freeway or we can take a back road. And the back road is something that really lights us up. We're very passionate about, we're very excited. We didn't realize that was an option, but there are going to be trade-offs. Maybe the hotel we booked isn't on that back road, maybe, and we'll have to rearrange some things. Maybe, it'll delay our arrival by a day. So do we really want that bad? And how much do we want to stay on the track we've got, just keep going on the more explicable route, or taking this beautiful little detour that really calls to our heart? And, oh, I didn't realize we were going to get to see that landmark. I didn't know that was here. How did I not know that was here? This is exciting. So there's something exciting, but there are trade-offs to be made. So this is a little bit of a fork in the road. I think it is a fork in the road. Do you want to keep going on the path that was planned, or do you want to take this detour? There's a sense here of like, this maybe doesn't make sense all the way, right? Like Romeo and Juliet, their relationship, this would be the Lover's card. Their relationship didn't make sense. It didn't fit into their environment. It didn't fit into the plan. It didn't fit into their families. There were objections all over the place about that, their affection for each other. So do we go towards it? And let's just forget about the end of the book for a while, or the end of the play. But, do you go towards that thing, even though there's all these naysayers, even though there's inconveniences and difficulties and things have to get rearranged? It's the math equation where instead of a number going in for X, you have, a bird. And you're like, that doesn't make sense. This is math. But no, it's not math. It's love. It's love. It's not an equation. And you don't get to choose sometimes. These aren't practical things. I think we would all prefer to have something practical that makes sense, that resonates with our heart. Also, that would be cool. But this card definitely talks about something that maybe isn't the most sense-making thing anyone's ever heard of, and it's not part of the equation. So we have, with our Rider-Waite-Smith deck, we have some sort of divinely guided. There's something very holy, very eternal, and very special about this connection, be it with whatever, right? Because not every tarot reading where the lover shows up can we be talking about a whole new soulmate, twin flame journey here, right? So it's got to be, we've got to be able to expand that from just one person to other possible connections that we make in our life. And there are lots of them. And then this is our first naked people in the deck. Only the Major Arcana has naked people. And there's a sense with the nudity here of unveiled, vulnerability, openness. Like this is unveiled. This is just so blatant, and it may make you feel very vulnerable, very scared, afraid, very naked, right? Like Adam and Eve in the garden, suddenly realizing like how vulnerable they are, how exposed everything feels. So all pretense removed, all of the shoulds and what you should want and what you should do and what should fit here and all of that and the whole plan and all of that is just suddenly exposed as a bit of costume, a bit of dress up for life, a little bit of the costume, or the we'll just call it a costume since the other word isn't coming to me. So but all of those shoulds and all of that, here comes the divine with plot twist. We've got this thing coming in. So in our hero's journey, this is going to be the plot twist where our passion is going to want to take us one way. And it is like, it comes in kind of big because it's a major arcana, but all of these choices that we make in life, they all add up. They're not small. So when we're choosing again and again to just do what we're supposed to do what we're told, do what makes sense, when we choose that again and again, we make a life that lacks passion. When we choose, what we love again and again, maybe there's so much passion there, but there may lack stability. So this isn't necessarily telling you what you should do overall, but it is a reminder that this decision has to be made a lot of times in our life about whether we're going to go with something that makes us come alive, or whether we're going to sort of live in fear of upsetting the boat, rocking the boat, and making a wrong turn, or doing something a little illogical. So, but this is the love before the trials and the tribulations. This is very early on in something. This is recognition. And I think also too of how vulnerable we are to sort of divine guidance, and how we can dress ourselves up and our decisions up in business suits and make everything make sense. But when the divine comes in, there is a sense of just this vulnerability and having to be open suddenly to something. So here we have the Matt Hughes deck. This one really goes with that beginning love, right? We see this couple later on. They've got children and mortgages and responsibilities. But this is that true connection, that enamored connection. So very obsessed. Some say love is blind, and others say that's really the only time we can see each other clearly, the way the divine sees us. So without the shoulds and without the artifices of culture and all the things that we're supposed to do and all the rules and regulations, this is just this unbridled passion for something, and we recognize it right away. So then we have the Santa Muerte deck, which I also love. I think this was the first one that really showed to me that it's a choice here. So we have the heart. We have this couple exploring this heart. What is this? What is this new thing? And then we have this key. It's not being forced into your hand. It wants you to make a choice about your life, about who you are, about how you're going to live things. It wants you to make that choice. It wants you to have the freedom to open this up and explore it or not. And one person may choose no, and one person may choose yes. Well, then that's a no, because the other person doesn't want to do it. So, but this is this gift, this new thing. Everyone's very excited about it. Are we going to open up? Are we going to go down this journey, this side path, or not? So this is the fork in the road. The key opens us up, but it's there to be taken or not to be taken. And just that recognition that you're making a choice is oftentimes very important, and is a really important part of the Lover's card showing up in a reading, is that recognition that you are making a choice. Are you going to go on this new journey? Are you going to open this up? It may feel like it's a distraction, but it's not. There's this divine guidance to it. These passions aren't distractions. They're part of our guidance system. And then we have the Golden Tarot here. So this one goes more with the vulnerability, the Garden of Eden idea, the beginning when everything's very perfect and very beautiful before a bunch of responsibilities and consequences show up. So again, we're getting this divine guidance. The divine has given you something that you can either accept or refuse, but it is a fork in the road here. We are again talking about some sort of innocence here, some sort of beginning innocence, and we do have the hand of destiny connecting you to someone. It's like they were both walking through the woods, on their own unique paths. And they're like, oh, hark, what is this? Oh my goodness. And now what do? Do we go down the same path together? Do we create a new path together? Do I go down your path? Do you come down my path? Or do we part ways here? There's a lot of decisions that need to be made. And this can be a little bit surprising, maybe not what you were quite expecting here. In mystical moments, we see the mutual attraction. The feathers here are meant to represent the ability to rise above the barriers, right? Are they the same? No, but in some ways they are the same. They are similar enough that they will be able to rise above the barriers, which is where the strength, you know, that bar that we cross, the strength bar on our Kabbalah here, comes in handy. That's what this relationship is going to require. That's what sticking with our passions actually requires. It's a strength card, which is coming in a little bit because we're going to need it. So it's about, you know, yes, this is passion, and yes, you know what, we have this type of passion will have the ability to rise above those obstacles. It always seems like we're going to do a better job if we go with what makes sense, because all of our culture and everything's structured to support that. But when you're just doing something because it's your job or because it makes sense without any passion, it actually makes those inevitable road bumps much more difficult, much harder to overcome, because there's no passion there to fuel the strength needed to get through some of life's road bumps. So we can see, you know, you can take the freeway all the way, you know, to Arches National Park. You're not guaranteed no traffic jams, no car accidents, no construction, just because you're on the freeway and on the most common route to go. If you're taking a side route where you do get, you might be a little bit motivated, a little bit more engaged because you did want this. You did want this route. You are excited to be on this journey. And yeah, what's a few roadblocks and whatever, and you know, what's a few problems there. But if you're on a road that you're not really excited about, a few problems can feel a lot bigger than they need to. So in this one, you know, this kindredness, there's enough passion there that's going to be able to give the relationship the strength it needs, and the passion it needs to overcome the inevitable obstacles, especially with something that doesn't quite make sense like this. And then we have the love card here. So this actually looks a lot like the strength card that we're going to see in a little bit. We've got a lion here. And so it is, I think, referencing that need for this passion to have a lot of strength and stamina and patience behind it. So this is the commitment that love can require, that these more passionate paths do require of us. Although everything requires of us some strength and stick-to-itiveness. So do you want to go with the more passion, or do you just want to force yourself through it? And then this one, the Muse. I love some of the stuff from the Muse deck here. We have these lovers inexplicably drawn together by, is this Cupid, or is it the fragrance of these flowers? They're drawn together. They're a very little bit shy because, you know, feeling that exposed, feeling your passions and letting somebody else see that you're passionate about them or about that connection is extremely vulnerable. So some of the quotes I liked from this one was a nudge to create if love were the main ingredient. And that's what I see with this. You know, how are you going to live your life? Is love going to be the main ingredient? Are you going to go towards that which you love? Or are you going to move away from that which you love, that which makes you feel vulnerable, and that which maybe doesn't make much sense? And if you want to love, you must make the choice to love, right? And then we've got that again coming in with this. You have to make the choice and the decision. It's a fork in the road. And if you want your life to be filled with love, it has to be a conscious choice that you make. The connection already exists. It's been revealed. It's been shown to you. It already exists. So do you want to go on this new possibility, or do you want to stick with the original plan? So it's similar to Two of Cups, which is more of a conversation that happens. In our Rider-Waite, we have it as a separation card, which means the Two of Cups is more about a conversation or a moment that happens, and we can take that into this stronger area. It can be the beginning of a lover's card. It also talks about 10 of Cups, happiness and fulfillment with others, and that's available with this lover's card. Reversed, the lover's card in reverse would be living in fear, making decisions out of fear, making conventional choices that you're not passionate about. It can also be that there isn't a choice, there isn't an option. We're we don't have the keys showing up. We don't have an opening here. We don't have a way to take this path. It can also reference feeling disconnected from your soul, disconnected from your purpose and your path, and that there is not a connection available here. You know, you may just be hoping there is, but there may not be. So honestly, I don't really get the Lovers in reverse very often, but when I do, you know, putting it in context with everything else, is this about there not being an option, or none of your options are really calling to you and you don't feel passionate about any of them? So that's the Lovers card. I hope that was helpful, and I'll see you guys on the Chariot card.